Today marks the 12th anniversary of the horrific Islamic terror attacks across Mumbai. A series of 12 coordinated shooting and bombing attacks in the city that left 164 people murdered and over 300 other people seriously wounded in this two-day siege.
We will not fight terror with AK-75s or with tanks or with grenades. We will fight terror with torches of love.
The heavily armed killers specifically targeting Mumbai's large Chabad house for attack. It was the scene of immense violence and tragedy. 9 out of the 10 Jewish visitors in the Chabad house were locked inside, tortured, then killed. 6 of those 9 Jewish victims were Israeli citizens. The only survivor, Rabbi Gabriel Holtzberg's 2-year-old son, and his brave nanny, who risked her own life to shield that toddler from the carnage. With us now is Rabbi Yisrael Kozlovsky, who is the chief rabbi now of the Mumbai Chabad House. Also with us is Sharon Galsolkar. Sharon is a first responder to the Chabad terror scene 12 years ago, who helped direct police and paramedics around the area. Sharon, I want to start with you, if I can. It's been 12 years. But yes, bring me back to the painful memory, if you can, of that night. Do you remember this like it was yesterday?
Yeah. The thing is, like, it's 12 years, but still the memories are fresh. And it was like 4 days ordeal that I was involved in. If I correctly remember, like the attack began on Wednesday evening, and then throughout Thursday, and it was Friday evening that the commandos were able to kill the terrorist and were able to enter the Bet Chabad. So we were there, like, along with my very good friend Yoel. I was there like from Thursday morning. It was Wednesday late night. We came to know that the Bet Chabad was under attack. It came as a shocking surprise because Bet Chabad was not something which was like famous in India, you know. It was, but later we came to know that that was one of the prime targets for the terrorists. And so it was quite exhaustive and very powerful and a very horrible experience, to be honest. Because on Thursday when I was there, I remember like our conflicts with the media, because a lot of media coverage was being done. A lot of people, local people were around, a lot of people, police were around, and the area was cordoned off. And the worst thing that was like we saw on Thursday was the media giving all kind of wrong reports regarding Bet Chabad. The initial idea that was put ahead was like as if Chabad was the headquarters of the terrorists themselves. So, you know, like we actually argued and spoke, and unfortunately we also saw the ill side of the media where, you know, conveying the news was more important than the truth.
Yeah.
The best part was to see Moshe along with his nanny Sandra and their worker Zakir alive and out of Bet Chabad. That was such a great relief. But the anxiety was there because still Rabbi Holzberg with his wife Rifki and other couple of guests inside. So there was a lot of anxiety. Friday also, like the operation started on Friday, and by Friday evening 8 o'clock, the army entered the Bet Chabad, and I could enter with the Zaka from team that was from Israel. So we went in, we saw like some really not good scene, and still there were like hand grenades around. So whole Friday night, the army was busy clearing the area. So I remember the whole Friday night, myself and my friend sitting outside Bet Chabad because we wanted to make sure that the deceased, the bodies of the deceased were not taken for post-mortem, because we wanted to avoid that. It's forbidden. Yeah. And
important work that you did, I mean, during the siege and the aftermath. Rabbi, I want to ask you, about, I know there's a new memorial and a museum that's being dedicated. Tell me about your personal effort, the work that you have put in to remember the lives that were lost and keep their stories alive.
So we were assigned to this Chabad house in late 2012. My wife and I were just married for a little less than 2 years, and my wife was pregnant with our first daughter. We came to Mumbai just to see the city and to take a call. They gave us a kind of a 3-day trip to decide whether or not we're taking this assignment, this shlichut. And on Friday, we walked into the building. The building was still almost destroyed. And I remember there were barely staircase because the staircase was exploded during the NSG rescue attempt. And we had to carefully go step by step. And the scene, I believe it was not as horrible as Sharon and the team saw it a couple of years before, but it was still very, very touching, especially for us being Chabad followers and growing up and the idea of shlichut and shluchim and the belief in the idea, as the Gemara said, shluchei mitzvah enam nizokim, was a horrible experience for us. But then, after a couple of minutes of touring the building and again seeing this unthinkable and unbelievable scene from the building, there you still see the bullet holes and there were still bloodstains on some of the walls. And those moments took us to the understanding that, yes, this place has been affected terribly, but now it's our mission to turn from darkness to light. As the Kohelet says, כיתרון החוכמה מן הסכלות, כן יתרון האור מן החושך. Sorry, the opposite. But the idea that light can overcome darkness and light can grow and should grow, especially from moments of darkness. Now, this building is very unique. It's been engraved in people's memories and people's hearts for the bad memories that it had. And our mission is to turn this scene and to grow from this experience to something positive.
Rabbi, have you seen
the whole idea?
The effort over the last few years to bring light back into the Jewish community, to welcome in visitors from around the world, to make them feel at home and connect with their Jewish faith? Tell me about the success you've seen over the last several years since you took the assignment.
The success, as Chabadnikim and as Shluchim of the Rebbe, we don't estimate and we don't measure success in numbers. We measure success in quality. And one of the challenges that we have that many thousands of the people who pass through every year, we only touch them for a couple of hours or a couple of days, then they go on and carry on. And then I hear feedbacks from other places and other colleagues of mine all over the world. This guy have decided to take on the mitzvah of tefillin. This lady has decided to take on the mitzvah of lighting candles, Shabbos candles, and so forth and so on, because the actual visits to the Chabad house and seeing what we have preserved, especially the place where Rabbi Holzberg, Hashem Yikom Damo, were killed, where the bullet marks are still on the wall, and seeing the Aron Kodesh where a bullet hit and went through from side to side, eating and penetrating a Sefer Torah, where when Zaka, Sharon and the Zaka opened it on Saturday morning, they realized that it was open, the central page where the bullet made a hole was the Parashat Achrei Mot, just after the death of the two sons of Aaron, where Hashem says, Bikrovai Ekadesh. So experiencing it, seeing it, it leaves an unforgettable experience to the visitor. And this is actually what the experience, my wife and I have experienced the first time we walked into the building, and we have decided to dedicate a big chunk, a big part of the building, the upper 3 floors of the building, to this idea where it's open not only for Jews, it's open for every person. And we get thousands of visitors, students, kids, official delegations from abroad, local people who come to experience and see this place, and with the idea and the goal and the target, and this is the feedback that we get from people, that every person that walks in, walks out a different person with a decision
Right.
to take on himself to make the world a better place.
Sharon, I know for you, I mean, obviously there's much more security now. I mean, it's a much more, many security measures have been put into place in and around the Chabad house. But
Yeah.
one of the certainly the most painful and public chapters following this massacre, this terror attack, baby Moish, orphaned by this terror attack, saved by his nanny from the carnage and the bloodshed. Is there something for you that gives you inspiration, or someone who was inside the Chabad after the terror attacks? Is there something that gives you comfort that makes you believe that the Jewish strength in this community will go on?
First of all, India, as we know, fortunately, we don't have a rich history of anti-Semitism in India. So first of all, it came as an extremely rude shock to the Jews, and especially the Jewish community of India, where Jews have been attacked. And not just the Jews alone, but also the other communities responded in shock. There was a lot of support. Unfortunately, a small portion of the extremist element of certain community was kind of didn't respond that good. You know, a little bit of anti-Semitism can be found in the extremist sections of the community, but by and large, there was a lot of support from the Indian communities, and a lot of sympathy came in. Now, what gives the inspiration is, first of all, to see the Beth Chabad running.
Yeah.
You know, it's functional, it's working. It's a very powerful answer that the Beth Chabad gave back.
Yeah.
It's functioning, it's kicking strong. I think that itself is an inspiration, I believe.